Hey Grande Alive, this is your weekly Newsish Roundup, brought to you by Grande Hospital, Northwest Furniture and Mattress, Anything 2 Digital, EONI, Valley Realty, Country Financial, and Les Schwab. Back in my day, we had projectors in schools. We had transparencies. We had big old computers that looked like bloated apples colored like the Teletubbies. And now look at kids. They have screens, they have Chromebooks, they have giant widescreen televisions in every classroom so that they can watch what they're writing on their iPads real time. Whatever happened to colored pencils? That's what I want to know. But you know what you can't do with colored pencils? Work on collaborative projects with people across the globe. And truth be told, that's the world we live in. And those of us who think that kids might be a little spoiled these days have to come to terms with the fact that if our kids are going to survive in the work world, they need to learn how to operate and work with someone in another state or even another country. Global collaboration, and that's the idea behind Central School's new high-tech collaboration stress design. A place where kids can learn to live in the new tech-saturated world and work with other people instead of just doing things on their own.
It's that we have our third graders. They completely do research on the Iditarod in Alaska, and they choose a musher, and they communicate regularly, and they track the musher all through the Iditarod. And then they, at key points, they talk to the musher and ask, how are things going? How are the dogs? What are the dogs' needs now? And the musher can share with them, well, one of the animals has a sore paw, so we had to trade him out. And they completely get engaged in the actual event. It's as if they're there. They can meet children from other, across the United States, and they can solve a problem together.
Wow.
So they can be given a math problem and solve it together. They can be given a real live economical problem and work together collaboratively to solve a problem in a community.
The new Central School building came about through a process of planning that is several years old. Originally, the administrators were considering just updating the old Central School to keep it running, but it wasn't safe enough. So ultimately, they decided to design and build a new high-tech school to bring kids into the modern world. The school operates on what's called the pod method. Every grade has a pod. All the classrooms for that grade are in that pod. Then each pod has what's called a breakout room into which kids from all the classes can join together to collaborate. That way, kids are learning to work outside their classroom with others.
A teacher in the first grade could come out and pull kids from each teacher because they're in a pod, and they could pull out a few kids and then work with them on the things that the best meet their needs at the level that they're learning at. 100% professional learning community in the sense where it's no longer just the teachers, it's now the students as well, working together collaboratively.
The rest of Susie May's interview will be available on the Grande Alive for you to watch in full. And be sure to poke your head into the Central School to see the screens, big open halls, and the kids. I'm sure Susie would be eager to show you around. This title story was brought to you by Northwest Furniture and Mattress, best in the Northwest. There's 2 new dudes in superintendent positions around the valley. Mr. George Mendoza has taken over the position of superintendent in Grande, and Mr. Earl Pettit is the new superintendent of the Cove School District. And this week, I got to sit down with both of them and get introductions.
My name is George Mendoza, and I've been the superintendent of Grande School District since July 2017. I'm in towards the middle of my second month, second week.
My name is Earl Pettit. I am the principal for the elementary school and the interim superintendent for Cove School District. I started on August 1st, so I'm just getting started. As an interim, my position spans until July 1st of next year.
Now, these 2 men's personalities are as far apart as Penn and Teller. Earl, Cove's new superintendent, is ex-military. He's blunt, confident, and to the point. All his sentences end with a period. George, Grande's new superintendent, on the other hand, is softer spoken, gentler. He smiles a lot, and before my interview, he polished his shoes, if that tells you anything about his attention to detail and style. He's soft like an armchair pillow. He makes you feel very comfortable to be sitting and talking to him and listened to. But ironically, though these two men put side by side would seem like completely different people, their leadership philosophies are actually quite similar and involve listening.
Too fast of anything is hard for an organization, and we're kind of a big ship. We have around 2,400 students, over 300 employees. Getting them to kind of move and shift takes some care, takes some management, takes some relationship, takes some trust. So going a little bit too fast isn't in the works for me. Getting to know people, establishing those relationships, listening to the hopes, dreams, and aspirations of others, hearing what people like about LeGrande or like about LeGrande School District, and then understanding what we can improve on. So I've been meeting with different folks, asking those kinds of questions. Almost always it's what's working well in LeGrande, what's not working well in LeGrande, what's working well in LeGrande School District, what's not working well in LeGrande School District, what are the hopes, dreams, and aspirations that you have for LeGrande, what are the hopes, dreams, and aspirations that you have for LeGrande School District, and then asking them, you know, within that context, what are the values that you have that you would want me to know about you? And then what are you looking for the superintendent of LeGrande?
It means finding a vision or a direction, knowing what that vision and direction is, that is a reflection of what the community really desires. If you can paint a picture as a community member of what you want your school to look like, how do you want it to feel like? And then it's my job to figure out how to get the school to that point. So using that leadership ability is really just about being able to influence the staff as well as key community leaders and community organizations to head in that direction.
Both these interviews will be available in full on LeGrande Alive. Also, we're looking forward to both of these men being more active on LeGrande Alive in times coming up. Okay, so I've done a lot about horses recently. I promise, I'm almost done. But when I went out several weeks ago to cover Clover Haven, I wanted to put together a longer piece about what's so special about horses and why you should head out this weekend to their Boots and Lace fundraiser.
There's something magical about a girl and a horse, and when you're riding them, you feel like you're on top of the world and like you have wings and abilities that you might not otherwise have. My name is Brittany Hersom, and I became a volunteer at Clover Haven 3 years ago. I fell so in love with the place that I actually ended up moving out here. Clover Haven started in 2009. They started out with the idea of providing an equine facilitated learning and therapeutic riding program for the community.
Well, my name is Carly Barrymore, and I have been living here for about 3 years, and my mom is the director. And Linda and Lloyd are like the owners of this place, and they've kind of adopted me, and they're kind of my grandparents now.
I'm Jordan Knoll, and I've been involved with Clover Haven for about 3 years, give or take. And I'm a volunteer. I come out on Sundays, work with the horses, scoop poop, basic horse stuff.
It's very empowering. You have a 1,000-pound animal and you get to be in control, we say, but we try to do things that make it feel like a choice for the horse and the participant.
I love horses because they're just so pretty and they're amazing animals. I mean, when I'm really mad, I just go talk to my horse, or I'll just go sit out there and be like, Bling, I had a bad day. Please help me.
The horse is there for you without judgment, without fear of telling anybody else. They're very good secret keepers. My horse is what I call my cry guy. When I don't want to necessarily tell someone about what I'm feeling, I can go tell my horse, and it's a guarantee he'll never tell anyone my secret or judge me for the way I'm feeling, even if it's the silliest thing.
The way the horse connects with you and how you affect the horse with your emotions and just anything you do,
the ability to make choices and set boundaries with the horses can transfer over into personal relationships especially. Coming on September 16th, we have something. It's the first annual Boots and Lace. It's a fancy barn gala just a half a mile up the road at the Sheehy Barn. We will be serving homemade fettuccine, salad, bread. Labibi Cakes has agreed to do the dessert for us as a donation, so thank you to them. And we're also going to be having an art auction. Potter's House has already donated a basket. Christy Sullivan has donated a painting. So all the money from Boots and Lace Gala will be to help support all the programs and the things that happen here at Cloverhaven.
The fundraiser is this Saturday out near Union. For more information about Cloverhaven, visit their website. And speaking of upcoming events, here's Get Out and Go with Emily Adair from Go Magazine.
Hi, I'm Emily Adair from Go Magazine.
And I'm Will Bowman from the Grande Live, and this is Get Out and Go.
This week's Go Magazine features an abstract artist's new work, which will be on display at the Art Center East. Catherine Treffinger's paintings toss out notions of control or preparation.
Baker City is celebrating a unique kind of art as they raise money for Parkinson's disease awareness. The Great Salt Lake Contest and Auction features abstract Salt Lake sculptures.
The Josephi Center is presenting a film showing of Massacre in Hell's Canyon and a Q&A session with the producer. The film, like the book it was based on, tells the story of more than 30 Chinese gold miners who were gunned down right here in Oregon.
Fish Trap is partnering with Oregon Humanities to present an installment of The Conversation Project. The Fish Trap discussion will include topics such as what artists sacrifice for their work, as well as what they gain. Spoken word artist Jason Graham will lead the discussion.
We also look at a few other discussions in Wallowa County, some musical performances in La Grande, and a theater show in Baker City.
This week's Go Magazine also includes a book review, local movie listings, and a regional concert announcement.
For more details, pick up a copy of this week's Go Magazine, which is inserted in the Observer and Baker City Herald. We're also online at GoNortheastOregon.com and on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
For more local content, check out LaGrandeLive.tv. Thanks for tuning in to Get Out and Go. And here's your local sports in your weekly Sports Spotlight with Ronald Bond from the Observer newspaper.
Hi, this is Ronald Bond with the La Grande Observer for LaGrandeLive.tv, and you're watching the High School Sports Spotlight. The smoke delayed the La Grande Baker showdown, but could not stop the Tigers from dismantling the Bulldogs 43-14 Saturday night at Community Stadium. Andrew Peasley was on point, throwing 4 touchdown passes and running for a 5th touchdown. The defense was in lockdown mode, holding Baker to only about 150 yards and collecting 2 interceptions, including one that Isaac Chamberlain took back for a touchdown. Wallowa was able to get its game in on Saturday, but lost to Adrian Jordan Valley 52-36. Union actually managed to play its game Friday, lost to Riverside in a defensive slugfest 8-6. And we had 2 Monday night football games and not on ESPN, as Cove beat Elgin 50-41 and Sunnyside Christian dismantled Joseph 56-12. Here's a snippet of what's ahead this weekend. Friday night, the La Grande football team welcomes Sunnyside, Washington to town. This is a Sunnyside team that beat La Grande handily a year ago, but that was in Washington, and this is a better La Grande team, so look for this to be a closer game. Friday afternoon, the Catherine Creek Scamper just outside of Union. Union Cove will be there, Elgin will be there, La Grande will be there, Enterprise will be there. This is a fun event, and with some of the rivalries that matriculate year after year, Union Cove and Enterprise in there, that'll be fun to watch, and look for La Grande to be in the mix as well. We also have soccer on Saturday. La Grande girls and La Grande boys against Baker, and a little volleyball for you too while we're at it. The La Grande Tigers volleyball team Saturday afternoon hosting Ontario in a GOL matchup. That's all we have time for today. For more local sports, go to LaGrandeObserver.com or pick up a copy of The Observer Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Follow me on Twitter at LGOBond and tune in to LaGrandeLive.tv for live content, videos, and more. I'm Ronald Bond signing out.
And here's your EOU sports and Around the Mountain in 90 seconds.
I'm Chris Duarte.
And I'm Ian Dexter.
Welcome to Around the Mountain in what, 90 seconds? Let's give it a go.
The number 7 ranked EOU football team hosted its home opener on Sunday against number 19 ranked Montana Western. In a close-fought battle, the Mountaineers came away with a come-from-behind 27-24 victory, thanks in part to 328 rushing yards. Quarterback Kai Quinn ran for 189 of those yards along with 3 touchdowns, including the go-ahead 37-yard TD run with 4:59 left to go. The Mounties next visit the College of Idaho on Saturday in Caldwell, Idaho at 1 p.m. Mountain Time.
EOU volleyball took down Multnomah and Warner-Pack in straight sets over the weekend. In Game 1, Amanda Miller led the charge with 13 kills, while Madison Garley recorded 7 blocks. In Game 2, newcomer Sarah Carpenter recorded 20 assists, and Holly Mullins and Malia Mills combined for 19 digs. The team hits the road this weekend to face Evergreen and Northwest.
The EOU women's soccer team traveled to Tacoma, Washington last weekend, facing Division III opponents Puget Sound and Pacific Lutheran. On Friday against Puget Sound, EOU played to a 0-0 tie despite leading 18-8 in shots. Val Gaffney recorded the shutout with 3 saves in net. On Saturday against the Lutes, EOU fell 2-1 with Natalie Mitchell tallying the lone goal in the 62nd minute.
Men's soccer suffered its first loss of the season, falling to Whitworth yesterday, 4-1. Josh Goodman recorded his first goal as a Mountie, and in total, the men launched 13 shots with 6 coming on frame. Both the men and women teams start conference play this Saturday night at Warner Pacific.
After having their previous meet postponed, the EOU men's and women's cross-country teams begin action this Saturday in the CCC preview meet here in LeGrande at Lane Farms.
Last but not least, a special shout out to LeGrande High School football as the Tigers begin the season 2-0 and face Sunnyside, Washington this Friday at Community Stadium. Good luck, boys. That's a wrap for us here at EOU Athletics. Join us next week for another 90-second edition of Around the Mountain.
For more information, visit us at eousports.com.
And one other quick sports highlight. Last week, the Grand Ronde Open Golf Tournament was hosted out at the LeGrande Country Club by the Grand Ronde Hospital Foundation. And what's the Grand Ronde Hospital Foundation? Well, here's Patrick Flynn, the coordinator, telling you.
The Grand Ronde Hospital Foundation is an independent 501c3 fundraising organization. So we are a separate organization from the hospital, but our sole purpose is to help purchase equipment and supplies and things like that for the hospital and its clinics. Yeah, and like last year we fundraised for a 3D mammography machine. That was a big one. That was a great big purchase, and we've had great feedback on that. A lot of good has come from that, and people have experienced that. And this year we're purchasing new infusion clinic chairs. So folks who are getting chemotherapy, IV immunization therapy, there's lots of different therapies they can get. We're buying new chairs for them to sit in because they have to sit.
Now, some of you may be asking, why golf? Why host a golf tournament? Well, I asked Patrick that same question, and he had this to say.
One thing is, it's easy to pick up, very difficult to master. And, there's golf courses everywhere, as you know. I mean, you could be in any town in America and be able to play golf. You could buy a set of clubs cheap, $40-50 someplace, and that's enough to get you started. There are guys out here in their late 80s that have been playing. There's a group that's been to every single Grand Ronde amateur, and some of those gentlemen are in their late 70s and into their 80s.
Seriously? Every single one?
Grand Ronde amateur.
Wow.
And and they're worldwide. There are people who play disabled, people who play in wheelchairs, things like that. So it's pretty unique in that it's one of those sports that so many different people can play.
Champions of this event were Jeff Nair of Walla Walla, who shot a gross 149, and Becky Kramer of Ambler, who shot a gross 155. And that's your weekly Newsish Roundup. This roundup was brought to you by Northwest Furniture and Mattress, Grand Ronde Hospital, Anything to Digital, EONI, Country Financial, Valley Realty, and Les Schwab. Please like and share the video and tune into LeGrandeLive.tv for more local content. I'm Will Bowman.